Well, good morning. Welcome to the Mid Speeds live class. We will go ahead and get started. We'll mute everybody. And let's start off with some common words. Here we go. Ready? Price, until, because, however, soon, back, night, every, being, here, use, copy, love, next, better, today, believe, present, such, course, old, thank, information, feel, amount, best, note, yet, check, never, many, possible, put, great, man, cannot, right, shipment, advise, enclosed, company, down, since, than, receipt, car, long, tomorrow, side, winter, sick, mean, direct. All right. Moving into some names and addresses. Here we go. Ready? Juanita M. Castillo, Castillo, Hardy County High School, 200 South Florida Avenue, Tampa, Florida, 34875. Mr. David L. Kaplonsky, Koplinski, P.O. Box 2000, South Lake Tahoe, California, 95705. Ms. Barb A. Hanson, Hansan, Route 2, Box 86A, Hinckley, Minnesota, 55037. Mr. Donald A. Lawrence, Lawrence, 4429 Vista Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 19136. Ms. Geneva L. Golson, Gholson, 40 North Avenue, Newark, Ohio, 43050. Little Falls Community High School, 1001 Fifth Avenue Southeast, Little Falls, Minnesota, 56345. Ms. Karen R. Anagunst, Anagnost, 221 Steuben Street, Montour Falls, New York, 14865. Counseling Office, attention, Ms. Linda Parker, Parker, 110 North Hillcrest Street, Greenville, Michigan, 48938. Ms. Dory L. Spiller, Spiller, Route 2, Box 425, Park Falls, Wisconsin, 54502. All right. I've got an abbreviation review for you. This is going to cover city, STI, thank you, TU, judge, initial J, judgment, initial J, final MT. Here we go. His judgment was right. Are you sure we will be welcome in the city? There are a number of cities on the river. I want to send her a thank you note. You are welcome to help yourself. Use better judgment. The judge was present at the welcoming ceremony. Thank you for all the good wishes. You can't go to all the cities on the map. The judge was the best customer in the city. The customers were flocking to the city. The mayor welcomed the actor to the city. Thank you for sending us those customers. All right. Consonant compounds. This is going to focus on final BD, final CHG, and final NG. Okay, let me just date this. All right, here we go. Ready? He was mobbed when he lobbed a home run. Bart was dubbed a felon when he robbed the store. He ribbed and bribed the public official. She dabbed on red lipstick while she combed her hair. Amy sobbed when he rubbed her sore back. They fibbed to their mother. John was reaching for the matching part. She was watching the patching. Are you catching the flu? He was caught poaching while ditching school. Mac is pitching and coaching for the team. Poison oak caused the itching and twitching. Winning and dining is fun. She was signing autographs after winning her title. He was manning the canning booths. The banning of bicycles appears in the zoning changes. Cheryl was whining and pining for home. Mort is tanning while shining his car. All right. My next drill for you is going to be a conflict review, and it's going to focus on there, possessive there, which is written TH final R. There, let's go over there, THR on the initial side. And the contraction for they are, they're going to come over tonight. Okay, the contraction TH long AR. Here we go, ready? I am going to a party at their house. Why do you insist on going there? I just will not play their game. They're going to be the only ones there. I will look forward to their presence there. I will have a picnic lunch there by the brook. Their paintings were the best ones there. She said that they're going to be there all day. They're insisting on doing it in just this way. There will be a line leading you to their place. Their yard is looking great because they're putting in a lot of time. There is some time left for the students to turn in their assignments, but they're still working on them. Who goes there? All right. I've got some tangle tamers. All right. I don't know why I said consonant compounds. Maybe some of them are, but these are tangle tamers. Here we go. Ready? Grand larceny, quiet enjoyment, implied ratification, emancipatory statutes, petty misdemeanor, fee simple, alcoholic beverages, physical incapacity, separation agreement, personal indignities, tangible damage, sealed instrument, speculative grievance, sovereign immunity, contempt proceedings, privileged document, unsound mind, riparian rights, originally vested, judicially declared, prevailing rule, or deeds canceled, conveyed freely, unity of possession, servient estate, legal disabilities, ancient origin, separate transfer, ultimately caused, curriculum vitae, counterfeit money, recognizable interest, criminally liable, specific offense, criminal statutes. I just dropped my lid to my pen that I mark up. I don't want it to dry out. All right, moving right along. I have some medical words for you. Okay, here we go. Ready? Umbilical, hepatitis, coccyx, epilepsy, Alzheimer's, proctologist, podiatrist, hemorrhage, hysterectomy, insomnia, laminectomy, examination, dizziness, clinical, radiology, orthodontics, lateral, angiogram, leukocyte, diseased, obstetrician, pressure, extremities, deceased, swelling, ischemia, posterior, erythrocyte, endocardial, hypodermic. And then I encourage you after class to go back and add those to your dictionary. All right. Moving into our last drills. This focuses on Roman numerals, all right? Sentences that use Roman numerals, but you're still going to use your number bar. Okay, here we go. Ready? The librarian discovered that volume 25 was missing from the set. Read count 2 of the indictment, please. If I ever remember correctly, I think the year of publication was 2010. Did you refer to volume 23, section 2? Does page 11 of the index list the book of titles? The copyright date read 1976. The intermission is between acts 4 and 5 of the play. Mr. Daly removed page 2 from the set of documents. Is the number 49 greater than 51? Are you familiar with Article 61? Please number the sections of the outline 1 through 17. Do you plan to pass this legislation before the year 2020, please refer to chapter 112. Does that say 50 or 60? Was page 19 included in the preface of the manuscript? Okay. Now, moving into literary, this is kind of a literary / drill. It covers both. It's the state review, and I love this drill because you get all of the states in one literary piece. I am going to read this at 120, okay? All right, here we go. I was born in Arkansas, my brother in Tennessee, my sister in North Carolina, and my mother and father in Michigan and Minnesota. My parents met in Georgia and got married in South Carolina. They first lived in Kentucky, but then they moved to Texas. We lived in Iowa, Louisiana, and Mississippi. When I was 10, I visited my aunt in Virginia. The following summer, I went to camp in West Virginia. My brother and sister stayed with our grandparents in Ohio. When I was 12, my parents took us to Connecticut during the fall, where we saw the leaves turn color. We were in New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island also. When I was 16, I worked for a company in New Jersey. This company bought parts in Oregon, Pennsylvania, Utah, and Wisconsin. The products were sold in North Dakota, South Dakota, Maryland, and Vermont. The company sent sales representatives to New Mexico, Nevada, Colorado, and Iowa. I graduated from school in Washington. My first job was in Arizona. The company I worked for had main offices in Florida and California. There were also offices in New Mexico, Maine, Alabama, and Delaware. Eventually, I moved to New York, where I lived for 4 years. Then I took a vacation in Hawaii. I returned, but had to take a flight that made stops in Kansas and Nebraska. During my absence, my employer had gotten accounts in Alaska, Missouri, and Iowa, and I was very happy to hear it. My sister moved to Montana, and my brother moved to Oklahoma. The following year, I moved to Illinois. That didn't suit me, so then I tried Idaho and Wyoming and found that I really liked the atmosphere in the West. I particularly liked the feeling in Montana and the northern part of Wyoming around Cody and Sheridan. All right. I have a small technical paragraph. You're going to hear the following words: concert, optical, digital, features, access, and processing. I'm going to read this once at 120, again at 140, and the last time at 160. Here we go. First time will be at 120. Ready? We want you to know about the finest disc player now being offered. You can enjoy the highly accurate sound. Our compact disc player has a 20-bit digital processing system. The CD player features an optical digital output. It has a 32-key random access programming system and an editing system. You would need to go to a concert to get any closer to the music. All right, second time at 140. Here we go. We want you to know about the finest disc player now being offered. You can enjoy the highly accurate sound. Our compact disc player has a 20-bit digital processing system. The CD player features an optical digital output. It has a 32-key random access programming system and an editing system. You would need to go to a concert to get any closer to the music. Okay, last time at 160. We want you to know about the finest disc player now being offered. You can enjoy the highly accurate sound. Our compact disc player has a 20-bit digital processing system. The CD player features an optical digital output. It has a 32-key random access programming system and an editing system. You would need to go to a concert to get any closer to the music. All right. Moving right into one more selection of literary, and then we're going to move into jury charge. Okay, this is called Prevention is Priceless. All right, here we go. For your smile and well-being. I'm going to start this at 120, and I'll work my way to 140, okay? Here we go. Don't let a twinge turn into agonizing pain, or a lost filling become a raging infection. Your small cavity might not hurt at first, but by the time it hits the nerve, it will. We can stop your pain before it starts. Routine oral exams uncover problems that you can't see. That's why early diagnosis and treatment can help you avoid pain and costly procedures. If you've been trying to get by with tolerating sensitivity to hot, cold, or sweets, bleeding, swollen gums, and chronic bad breath, chewing on only one side of your mouth, then it's time to make your appointment with us ASAP. Prevention pays in countless ways. Why suffer from decay, tooth loss, bone loss, or gum disease when you don't have to? We're here to keep minor problems from becoming major ones. The inflammation associated with advanced gum disease can increase your risk of serious conditions such as heart attack, low preterm birth rate, and diabetes. So prevention can also help boost your overall health. Here's where you save big. Your daily care and regular dental visits are a small price to pay compared to the real cost of repairing damaged teeth, gums, and bones, especially when it can be prevented. You can easily shell out 10 times more to restore a tooth over a lifetime than what you'd pay to prevent decay in the first place. You pay next to nothing for an oral exam that helps preserve your smile, your health, and your money. Together, we'll keep your smile shining for a lifetime. It's as simple as twice daily brushing and flossing, along with our comprehensive preventative care program that includes professional cleanings, sealants, professional and personal instruction, and more. Start your year off right with a routine exam and cleaning for the whole family. The kids will get a fresher and refresher on proper brushing and flossing techniques. We'll be able to catch and prevent potential dental emergencies, and you'll have freshly pearly whites to show off in your vacation photos. taking a family trip, don't forget to prep for potential dental mishaps. If you know how to handle a tooth-injuring fall on wet tiles or a tumble around the concrete swimming pool, it won't ruin your trip. Ask us how. Before traveling, stock each family member's toiletry bag with travel-sized toothpaste, floss, and mouthwash. Get toothbrush travel cases with ventilation holes to keep brushing clean and dry. In-flight toothache. The inflammation associated with decay or a dangerous abscess can worsen with an increase in cabin pressure. That's why a checkup is strongly advised before long flights. Travel breath. You don't want bad breath as a travel companion. Start with a professional dental cleaning. Sugar-free mints and gum increase saliva production, which helps clear odor-causing bacteria. Drinking fresh water also rinses away stale breath. In case of emergencies, knocked out tooth. Get emergency dental care within an hour for your best chance of reattachment. Gently rinse the tooth and place it in milk or water. Do not scrub the tooth. Broken tooth or filling. Clean by rinsing your mouth with warm water. Apply an ice pack if swelling occurs. Use a temporary filling material available at your local pharmacy until you can get proper dental attention. Big smiles could mean a happier life. Could the secret to living a happier life actually be connected to having a healthier smile? Certainly, the more you smile, the better you feel. As it turns out, the size of your grin can also predict your future success. Researchers at UC Berkeley measured over 37,000 women's smiles in yearbook photos from 1905 to 2013, and then surveyed the same students over time. Regardless of beauty, the women with the biggest grins had longer, happier marriages, greater feelings of success, and were more inspiring to others. Smiles create a connection and inspire joy. So put on a happy face. I was missing teeth in the back areas of my mouth and knew that something needed to be done to prevent a more significant problem in the future. As someone who had spent a great deal of time in a dentist chair over the years, I've come to know who's good at their profession. I'm also retired from the U.S. Air Force, and I recognize professionalism and a subject knowledge expert when I see one. After meeting with my dentist and staff, I have complete confidence in them, and my experience as their patient was unbelievably pleasant. I was actually able to relax and think pleasant golf thoughts while in the dental chair. After treatment, implants, crown, and implant-supported bridges, my results are fantastic. Having proper chewing surfaces made such a difference in how and what I'm able to eat. I don't rely on my front teeth as much anymore. You have the necessities for your getaway: sunscreen, mosquito repellent, aloe, flashlight, and bandages. Don't forget about a first aid kit for your teeth. Dental emergencies are double the pain on the road. And since you don't know what kind of dental care you'll have access to on vacation, it's better to be safe than sorry. Add these first aid essentials to keep your smile safe. Number 1, salt. When added to warm water and used as a rinse, it can help with gum infection. Number 2, ibuprofen. Ibuprofen can be used for temporary pain relief in dental emergencies. Don't use aspirin because it thins the blood and makes it harder to stop the bleeding. Number 3, tooth filling material. Fill an exposed cavity temporarily if your filling falls out. Number 4, dental wax. Use dental wax to cover a broken wire or braces bracket and prevent mouth soreness until you're able to see an orthodontist. Number 5, tooth saver vial. Keep a lost tooth safe, clean, and moist before rushing off for the emergency dental work. All right. Moving into jury charge. I'm going to read this at 140, and then I'm going to go back and read it again at 160. Okay. All right, so the first time will be at 140. Here we go, ready? And let me give you a word list. You're going to hear evidence, non-existence, existence, circumstantial, direct evidence, circumstantial evidence, inference, logically, reasonably, which you can write as R-A-E-N-L, acceptable, combination, reconciled, rational conclusion, beyond a reasonable doubt. In other words, and let's see. Oh, the last one would be establish, which is B-L-I-S-H, blish. All right, here we go. First time will be at 140. Ladies and gentlemen, evidence consists of testimony of witnesses, writings, material objects, or anything presented to the senses and offered to prove the existence or non-existence of a fact. Evidence is either direct or circumstantial. Direct evidence is evidence that directly proves a fact without the necessity of an inference, and which by itself, if found to be true, establishes that fact. Circumstantial evidence is evidence that, if found to be true, proves a fact from which an inference of the existence of another fact may be drawn. An inference is a deduction of fact that may logically and reasonably be drawn from another fact or group of facts established by the evidence. It is not necessary that facts be proved by direct evidence. They may be proved also by circumstantial evidence or by a combination of direct evidence and circumstantial evidence. Both direct evidence and circumstantial evidence are acceptable as a means of proof. Neither is entitled to any greater weight than the other. However, a finding of guilt as to any crime may not be based on circumstantial evidence unless the proved circumstances are not only, one, consistent with the theory that the defendant is guilty of the crime, but two, cannot be reconciled with any other rational conclusion. Further, each fact which is essential to complete a set of circumstances necessary to establish the guilt of the defendant must be proved beyond a reasonable doubt. In other words, before an inference essential to establish guilt may be found to have been proved beyond a reasonable doubt, each fact or circumstance upon which inference necessarily rests must be proved beyond a reasonable doubt. Okay, so let's do that again at 160. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, evidence consists of testimony of witnesses, writings, material objects, or anything presented to the senses and offered to prove the existence or non-existence of a fact. Evidence is either direct or circumstantial. Direct evidence is evidence that directly proves a fact without the necessity of an inference, and which by itself, if found to be true, establishes that fact. Circumstantial evidence is evidence that, if found to be true, proves a fact from which an inference of the existence of another fact may be drawn. An inference is a deduction of fact that may logically and reasonably be drawn from another fact or group of facts established by the evidence. It is not necessary that facts be proved be or by direct evidence. They may be proved also by circumstantial evidence or by a combination of direct evidence and circumstantial evidence. Both direct evidence and circumstantial evidence are acceptable as a means of proof. Neither is entitled to any greater weight than the other. However, a finding of guilt as to any crime may not be based on circumstantial evidence unless the proof circumstances are not only one, consistent with the theory that the defendant is guilty of the crime, but two, cannot be reconciled with any other rational conclusion. Further, each fact which is essential to complete a set of circumstances necessary to establish the guilt of the defendant must be proved beyond a reasonable doubt. In other words, before an inference essential to establish guilt may be found to have been proved beyond a reasonable doubt, each fact or circumstance upon which inference necessarily rests must be proved beyond a reasonable doubt. All right. Moving into our Q&A. And we're going to do a little bit of everything today. I did take off, if you notice, the D2 here. So we've got the court coming in today. All right. And I want to give you a word list. Okay, here we go. Ready? You're going to hear El Paso, Texas, Del Mar, Peter Townsend, Daniel Elmore, Thomas Porter, restrictions, religious, Dex, etc., deputy sergeant, trustees, hostility, dormitory, Albert Egan, prisoner, rec room, weather, as in the weather outside. Okay, now this is going to start with the court. And the plaintiff is questioning, but it is going to switch over to a little bit of cross-examination by the defense. All right, so we have a little bit of everything here. I'm going to start this at 120 and I will work my way to 160. Here we go. Ready? All right. Is this your witness? Yes, Your Honor. This is one of my witnesses. All right. The other witness hasn't arrived as yet. Will you please state your name and address for the record, sir? My name is Peter Townsend, Townsend. My address is 7809 Del Mar Road, El Paso, Texas. Mr. Townsend, what is your occupation? I am a deputy sergeant. Sir, how long have you been a deputy sergeant? Let's see, for approximately 10 years. In the last 1 year, have you had any occasion to see, in the course of your duties as a deputy sergeant, the defendant, Daniel Elmore? Yes, I have. And will you tell us where you have seen Mr. Elmore and under what circumstances? Yes, in the last year, I have been assigned duty at the main jail facility in downtown El Paso. What has your contact been with Mr. Elmore? I have had contact with Mr. Elmore through my work in the main jail facility when I work in the minimum security area where he is housed. I have had conversations with him. Will you explain what the minimum security area is in the jail so the jury knows? Yes, the minimum security area in the jail is basically made up of 4 sections. Sections A, B, C, and D. Section C is where Mr. Elmore is housed. It has dorm areas where you will find anywhere from usually 10 to 16 inmates in a dorm. There is a rec room for every 40 to 60 inmates. There is a special area for trustees. So Mr. Elmore was housed in Section C? Yes, he was. Is he currently housed there? Yes, that's my understanding. Okay, and are you still in Section C? Yes, I am, but I do move around, all around the jail. The deputies and guards are assigned to various decks on an alternating 3-day basis to make sure our job doesn't get strictly routine. So I may work Section C once a week, and then again, I may not work it for a week. The change helps the jail personnel to keep on top of things. Okay, in the course of your work, have you had occasion to talk to Daniel Elmore? Yes, I have. And what did you talk about? Oh, just real general things, sports, weather, etc. Sometimes we talk about what's happening in the jail, what's happening today, how are you doing, this type of thing. Just real casual conversation for the most part. Did he ever talk to you about his family? I don't remember. Okay, you don't recall. Did you ever have any problems with Mr. Elmore while he was in jail? I personally never had any problems with Mr. Elmore at all. Well, have you found him to be cooperative, respectful, or dutiful, or what? In my experience in working in the jail and having had contact with Mr. Elmore, I have had no real problems. He has always done everything that I have asked him to do. Has he done it willingly? Has he exhibited any hostility or anything like that? He has always helped me willingly. Do you know an inmate, or did you know an inmate by the name of Thomas Porter? Yes, I did know Mr. Porter. Okay, and was Mr. Porter housed in the same dormitory with Mr. Elmore? Yes, he was. Did Mr. Elmore try to help Thomas Porter? What do you mean by help? Did Mr. Elmore exhibit concern and respect when dealing with Thomas Porter? Yes, it's my understanding that in observing them, that they had a pretty strong relationship as far as respect and caring for each other. Was it a brother type relationship? Well, yes, there would be respect, caring, and concern. Do you know whether or not Daniel Elmore kept in touch with his family? I don't have any knowledge of that. Did he talk to you about his children, his wife? I don't recall. Can you think of anything else that you can say on behalf of Mr. Elmore? No, I can't. No further questions at this time. Counsel, I take it Mr. Elmore has been in a minimum security area of Section C all of this time? Yes, sir. He is in one of those areas of the prison, which, in terms of the jail security, has minimum restrictions placed upon the behavior of the prisoners upon what they can do. Is that right? That's right. I have nothing further. Redirect, counsel. Do you know a person by the name of Albert Egan? Yes, I do. Have you seen him, Mr. Egan, visiting with Mr. Elmore? Yes, I have on several occasions. Did Mr. Elmore ever mention the Bible to you or anything of a religious nature? No. Did you ever see Mr. Elmore reading the Bible? On occasion, I have seen him reading the Bible, yes. All right. We're going to move right into another set of Q&A, and this does have all 4 voice, so we're going to have the court jump in as well as the defense. All right, let me give you a word list, okay? You're going to hear L.E. Pruitt, Harry's Grill, Fixtures, Metropolitan, Purcell, Theodore M. Brady, Moral, Coffee Shop, Blanket, Insurance, Illinois, Underwriter, Chicago, Springfield, Newman, Broker. All right. Again, this is going to start with plaintiff. Actually, plaintiff is the questioning attorney, but defense and the court will jump in as well. And I'm going to start this at 120. Actually, you know what? I'm going to start this at 140 and work my way to 160, okay? All right, here we go. Ready? Mr. Brady, do you know a Mr. L.E. Pruitt? Yes. Had you discussed the insurance on the fixtures and Harry's Grill and Bar with Mr. Pruitt? Yes, I did. Did you have any correspondence with Mr. Pruitt regarding the fixtures for the restaurant? I received no correspondence from him. I wrote him one email after a couple of telephone conversations. Do you remember what was the nature of your conversation? What did he say to you? And what did you say to him? As I recall, I contacted his office after getting a phone call from Mr. Newman's secretary stating that Mr. Pruitt had called them and had told them that Mr. Parker didn't want us to write any insurance on this property, that Mr. Pruitt was going to write all the insurance for them. Please continue. Then I called Mr. Pruitt's office and explained to them that this contract, this master policy that we have, requires that all conditionally vended property be included under this blanket policy. Then, as a favor to him, go ahead. I called the Metropolitan Underwriter's Office in Chicago, Illinois, and asked them if they cared to make an exception in this particular case. And I was advised by the head underwriter, Mr. Purcell, that he could see no reason why there should be an exception, that the contract provided that all conditional sales should be included under this policy. Okay, so I advised Mr. Pruitt by email that we were going to send it. That you were going to send it? Send what? That we were going to send out the policy. Do you have any way of establishing the dates of these conversations you had with Mr. Pruitt? They were prior to November 18 because it was on November 18 that I emailed Mr. Pruitt, November 18, 2010. Then it was November 18, 2010 that you sent Mr. Pruitt an email informing him of this? That is right. And in your conversation with Mr. Pruitt, did you inform him that this policy that Mr. Newman had? Your Honor, I object to the leading questions. Sustained. Did you inform Mr. Pruitt of the nature of the policy? I will object to the leading question, Your Honor. Sustained. The email is the best evidence. Do you have a copy of the email that you sent to him? Yes, I do. May I see it, please, sir? May I approach the witness, Your Honor? Yes. I have here an email to L.E. Pruitt Insurance Company, and it is signed by Thomas M. Brady. May I have this marked plaintiff's next in order for identification, Your Honor? It will be marked plaintiff's 18 for identification. May I approach the witness, Your Honor? Yes, you may. To clarify this is an email you wrote to Mr. Pruitt after you had discussions with him regarding insurance on the fixtures in Harry's Grill and Bar. Is that right? That is correct. Would you read the email to us, please? November 18, 2010, L.E. Pruitt Insurance, 5028 Main Street, Springfield, Illinois. Subject, Harry's Grill and Bar. Dear Mark, I didn't get back to the office in time to call you this afternoon, and since I am not planning on being in the office tomorrow morning, I decided to send you an email. This afternoon, I went to West Springfield Fixtures and discussed this matter with Mr. Newman. He stated that Mr. Parker had been in his location yesterday and mentioned nothing about insurance and wanted to talk with him about it before making any decision. He got Mr. Parker on the phone while I was listening on a third line. Mr. Parker said that he was well satisfied with the coverage under this certificate, and he wanted to leave it as it is. I trust that you will be able to write the rest of the line for him. Thank you, Brady and Morrill Insurance, T.M. Brady. Mr. Brady, you indicated you had been an insurance broker for about 3 years. Prior to that, what was your business or occupation, sir? I was in insurance claims for approximately 13 years. May I approach the witness, Your Honor? Yes, you may. Are you familiar with business interruption insurance? I am. I call your attention to Peoples 5 in evidence. This appears to be an insurance policy. It is. And is it a business interruption policy? It is. What are the limits on that policy, if you can tell by looking at it, sir? The face amount of the policy is $550,000. In the event of a business interruption, how will this be paid to the owner of the business? I would have to examine the policy quite carefully to tell you. Does it state an amount per day on that? Yes, it states the rate of $4,000 per day. Your Honor, I have no further questions. All right. We're going to go into another transcript. This is going to start with defense. I'm going to start this at 140 and work my way to 160. Okay, here we go. Would you state your name for the record, please? Sharon Lee Jessen. It's my understanding that a lawsuit was filed on your behalf, at which time you were using the name of Buehler, B-U-E-H-L-E-R. Yes. It's further my understanding that you've been asked questions about the lawsuit in connection with what happened about the accident? Yes. The purpose of today's inquiry or questions is to ask questions about if you were injured, how you were injured, and how you are doing. Do you have any questions about the nature of the deposition? No. You understand you're under oath? Yes. Do you understand there's a court reporter present? Yes. And you've talked to your lawyer about what we're doing today? Yes. Do you have any questions about the procedures we're doing? No questions. If at any time you want to take a break, certainly speak up and we can pause, hesitate, or whatever. We are now talking about an accident that occurred on April 8th of 2009. Yes. About what time of day? I'm just trying to get the time of day the accident occurred. Approximately between 2:30 and 3. In the morning or afternoon? Afternoon. Physically, were you in an automobile? Yes. Were you the driver? Where were you seated? I was the driver. And did your car have an impact with some other car or something? Yes. What did the car have an impact with? Another car. As a result of the impact, what, if anything, happened to you physically? Anxiety, depression, headaches, nightmares, back pain, neck pain, confusion, memory loss. That just about covers it. But what, if anything, happened to you physically within the car as a result of the impact? As a result of the impact, I did hit my head. Do you know what your head hit? My head hit the roll bar. What kind of vehicle were you in? A convertible Corvette. Do you know the model of the car? I don't recall. Is that a car or a truck, or it is a small car? When you use the expression roll bar, where was that located? Just behind my head. With respect to the vehicle itself, was it towards the top of the vehicle, or the back, or the bottom, or the front? It was in the middle. On the top of the vehicle, or on the bottom, or right in the middle? It was over my head. Over my head, about that far. Did you ever lose consciousness as a result of the accident? I don't recall if there was so much confusion. I could have. Did you see the impact between your car and the other vehicle? Well, at what time? As it occurred. No, it was behind me. Were you aware of when it happened, in the sense that, gee, we've been hit? I'm not trying to trap you. Were you aware that an impact had occurred? Yes. And what made you aware of the impact? I lost control of my car. And what caused you to be aware that you lost control of the car? The car jumped and turned around the other way, and I hit my head. On the roll bar? Uh-huh. Yes. How fast were you traveling at the time of the impact? Between 5 and 10 miles an hour. Do you have any estimate as to how fast the other vehicle was traveling? No. You've had the impact and your head has hit the roll bar as you described it. Do you recall your head actually hitting the roll bar? Yes. And after that happened, were you alert, in the sense that you were aware of what was going on? Not completely. You were dazed? Yes. Was there an investigation of the accident by police officers? Yes. And did you talk to any of the police officers? Yes. And as far as you know, did you tell them whatever you knew about how the accident occurred? Yes. Did an ambulance or other emergency people come to the scene? Yes. And how did you leave the scene? I was carried to the ambulance. You left by ambulance? Yes. I was put on a gurney or a stretcher? Yes. At the time you were placed in the ambulance, I want to be flexible with you in the sense of what that question means. How did you feel? You described what you felt at the time your head hit the crossbar. How did you feel at the time that I was hysterical, crying, scared, frightened. Physically, do you feel any pain or discomfort? Did you feel any? Yes. To what parts of your body? To my neck and my back, and an extreme headache. Had you ever had any problems with your neck before the accident, in the sense of having pain, discomfort? No. Had you ever had any problem with your back before the accident? No. What feelings did you have about your neck? What discomfort? It felt wrenched. Wrenched in the sense of like twisted? I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. No, it felt painful when I would move it to the right or to the left, when I would turn my head. And this was at the accident scene? Yes. You mentioned having back pain. What part of your back had pain? The whole back had pain, from the upper back to the lower back. Let me ask, if I may. You first indicated the whole back, then the upper back, then the lower back. Are you talking about from your neck down to below your waistline? Yes. The whole back? Yes. On both sides of the back? It's hard to say both sides of the back. It was spasmodic, spasms, hurting spasms, but in a range from the neck down to the lower back? Yes, yes. And where were you taken from the accident scene? To a hospital. Do you recall what hospital you were taken to? I think it had a president's name. And were you kept there as an in-bed patient? No. And for how long were you at that hospital? 4 to 5 hours. And then were you taken to some other hospital? No. Where did you go from there? Home. And while you were there for the 4 to 5 hours, was that in the emergency room? Yes. Was that at the Eisenhower Hospital? That sounds about right. How did you get home? My husband picked me up. And what is his name? William Bueller. And were you married to him at that time? Yes. When did you marry Mr. Bueller? When? November the 9th, but I can't remember which year. Do you recall which grade? Which decade? The 80s, 90s? Any time in the 2000s? 2000s. Are you still married to Mr. Bueller? No. How did that marriage dissolve? Divorce. And in what year? 2010. The year 2010? Yes, the year 2010. Do you recall what month? No, I do not. In what state was the marriage obtained? What state did we get married in? No, divorced. Oh, California. What county was that? I don't know if it was LA County or San Bernardino County. Did you file the petition to dissolve the marriage, or did your husband? It was joint. Who initiated the action? My husband, ex-husband. And at that time, where did he reside? Where did he live? Yes, Mount Baldy. So he was either Los Angeles. Maybe I can make it easier. It was in Los Angeles County in Pomona. In Pomona? Yes. Okay. And do you know what year it was filed? No, counsel, but I'll tell you what. Leave a blank in the deposition and I'll get you that information. Or you can inform us of that. I sure will. I'd appreciate it. Now, you married Mr. Bueller sometime in the 2000s and divorced in 2010. Had you been married before getting married to Mr. Bueller? Yes. How many times? One other time. And what was your previous husband's name? Paul Dinoff. Can you spell the last name, please? Dinoff. And where did you marry Mr. Dinoff? Las Vegas. And what year? Approximately 1998. And do you know the state in which Mr. Dinoff was born? No. And how did that marriage terminate? Divorce. In what year? What year did I say we were married? 98, I believe. Approximately 2002. Did you have any children during the marriage with Mr. Dinoff? No. Do you have any children at all? No. Have you had any other marriages other than to Mr. Bueller and to Mr. Dinoff? No. What is your date of birth? 5/16/77. And where were you born? Riverside, California. What's your educational background? High school graduate. From what school? Colton Union High School. And what year? 1995. You've indicated that at the time you had the accident, you felt pain in your neck and back and other certain areas of your body. You were then taken to the hospital, and it may be Eisenhower, but I'm not going to hold you to that. You were there 4 or 5 hours and then went home. You were taken home by your husband, Mr. Bueller. When did you next seek or obtain medical attention? Approximately the day after or the day after that. I'm not positive. All right, so that we spent a lot of time with me reading at 160. So that's a great workout. And if you struggled, feel free to go back and listen to it again, and you can get more practice with that. I didn't spend very much time in that last section of this car accident reading 140. I spent a lot of time in 160. All right, so that concludes our Mid Speeds Live class. Have a great day.